Holy folly, you are God living in her own dream. You can call me Agape from Love Has Won Mystery School. And in this update video, there are a few things I would like to share with you. The first one is when you feel frustration for someone, you are not feeling frustration for the actual person, for the being. You are feeling frustration for the programming, the ego programming within that being. So it's important to keep that in mind so that you don't look upon the person as their programming. The programming is different from the actual person. So don't let the programming get in the way of your love for that person. It's never another person, another being that you are angry with. It's the programming. Okay. Second thing to share is this idea of, or this truth that you are alone in this universe. No one and nothing else exists but you. Now, there are two different reactions to this. The first reaction is you could see that as completely magical, amazing, no better feeling. There's no better feeling than feeling like you are God living in your own dream and nothing and no one else exists but you. Okay. However, a lot of people I've found, when they start realizing this truth or getting glimpses of it, because they're still somewhat attached to their ego, the ego finds this very daunting because the ego requires there to be other people. The ego is who you want to be or who you believe you are compared to other people. So when there are no other people, it's basically the ego dies and the ego doesn't like it. So the ego reacts, it's like, oh, that's really daunting. I want there to be other people. But think about it. When are you most relaxed? Is it around other people or when you're completely on your own? So now imagine you are completely alone in this universe. If you fully accept and surrender to that truth, then you experience whole being relaxation. However, if you're still quite attached to the ego will say, no, I don't want to come to that truth. And that's actually a big blockage. It's a very subtle blockage. You may want to spiritually progress, but subconsciously, the ego doesn't want you to see or feel the truth. I would suggest sitting with the truth a bit more, letting the ego have its tantrum while watching it, but then eventually that tantrum will die down the more you just continue being in the truth, whether that be in meditation or otherwise. And eventually you will experience the magic of aloneness. And now the final thing that I would like to share is that this idea of happiness is quite a vague, hopeful term. Okay, so what is happiness? Someone might say, well, happiness is achieving a goal that you wanted to achieve, right, in life. Some might say happiness is some kind of emotion. Some people might say, some people don't know what happiness is. But I've found that no matter where you are on that journey, there always seems to be this niggling thing where, am I truly happy? Is there something I can do to have even more happiness? But the term happiness is very vague, very subjective. Often when people talk about happiness, they don't really know what they're referring to. If it's some kind of temporary feeling, then is that true happiness? True happiness is there permanently, right? Just as truth is permanent, so true happiness must be permanent. So yeah, it's a quite vague concept, and I would recommend sticking to other concepts that aren't so subjective, that aren't vague. So I would say, contentment with life. That's something that you can fathom, that you know whether you're content with life or you're not content based on your resistance or full surrender and acceptance to life. There's also joy. We all know what joy feels like. We've had glimpses of it. No matter who you are, you've had a glimpse of it. So joy is another feeling that we're familiar with. So we can say whether we're joyful, we're joyous, or we're not. And contentment and joy are things you can feel right now in the present. Whereas happiness, there's always this air of like hope that you'll be happy in the future. There's always this hope, or something will happen, then I'll be happy. But with joy, you can make a decision to have joy right now if you want. Contentment, you can make the decision to be content right now. But happiness always seems to be this far out concept. So if you're aiming for happiness, to feel happiness, I would recommend switching it to feeling joy and feeling contentment. So that's all I have to share in this particular video. If you have any questions or comments, please give a comment below this video. Yours joygasmically, Agape.